About 4 years ago, Jubilee released this video about how people with Down syndrome think about various different topics. The first of which being, does the R word hurt your feelings? As you can see from this image, every single person said that it did. There's one gentleman on the left who went on the side of disagree, but it becomes very obvious if you watch the video that he does not appreciate the R word one bit. And this video, quite frankly, is very good. I'm not a large fan of Jubilee, but this video does a wonderful job at illustrating the voices of people who are so often looked over and how harmful language can be. One of the people from this video said, "We don't want to hear that word. Take that word out of your mouth and change it to respect." It's a really great advice, some really simple advice. All you have to do to stop hurting people's feelings is take one singular word out of your vocabulary. And yet that is not at all what people took away from this video. I see this video reposted constantly with comments to some sort of effect like this, pointing out the gentleman from earlier who mistakenly went to the wrong side. Ain't no way he went to the wrong side, right? You see this comment here from The Predator, very interesting name, says the jokes just write themselves, right? This individual here, the Winkle Warrior, quite an interesting name. This is perhaps one of the worst comments. He says, "Bro lived up to expectations." Of course, implying that his expectation of individuals with Down syndrome, of individuals on the spectrum of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, is that they cannot understand a simple question. And if you actually watch the video that this was commented under, it becomes very clear that this man goes far beyond those expectations. He understands very clearly the questions. He prints his own shirts, which voice his discomfort with the R slur. This individual here makes reference to their ranked teammates, which is of course wrong, because most of my ranked teammates are severely less intelligent than the individuals found in this video. Even that comment, it doesn't seem too harmful, but what it's doing is it's taking the agency away from these people. It's ignoring what they are actually saying. And it is using their testimony as a joke. And then finally this comment here that says, "What a restart." And what this person is doing is they're using a slur. They're using the R word, right? They've replaced it with another word, but the intention of this comment is exactly the same as if they were to say the R word. All of these comments have hundreds to thousands of likes. This is a very prevailing idea among the youth that the R word is okay to say. And that is simply incorrect. So I want to talk about the history a little bit. A lot of people say, well, it's just a medical term. And that's true. It was a medical term used in the 19th and 20th century. I want to talk about what the medical field looked like during that time. So during that time, people with Down syndrome and people with mental and physical disabilities in general were seen as being products of an immoral society. People were blamed for their children's disabilities. Of course, now we know this is untrue, but this is how many people at the time felt. There was also a prominent doctor, I will have a source in the description for this, Dr. Harry Hasselden, who promoted parents to not feed their disabled children. This was in the 1900s. He promoted parents not to feed their disabled children so that they would starve and no longer have to be dealt with. So this is, when you say it's just a medical term, this is what was happening in the medical world. There was hundreds of thousands to millions of people arrested into mental institutions, many of them admitted without wanting to be there. They could not leave if they wanted to. And these people have been completely overlooked by society. Mental institutions largely, at least in America, have gone away and have been replaced by mental hospitals. But even now, there are instances of abuse and of mistreatment. And these are in facilities in developed countries with supposed good morals. There was also many states during the 1900s that imposed laws which forced sterilization on people with Down syndrome. They did not want them to reproduce. And there are hundreds of thousands of known survivors from this time period who were physically or sexually abused in some way in mental institutions. So when you use the R slur and you say it's just a medical term, this is the medical world of the time. It is drenched in discrimination, against people of differing races, of differing intellectual levels, of different disabilities. So yes, it was a medical term. That's true, it was a medical term. But in the context of the medical world at the time, it was used explicitly for discrimination. And there are people even today who are nonverbal or who passed away before they ever had the chance to spare their experience, and they can never speak up. It is impossible for them to detail the trauma that they experience in these institutions, either because it's too difficult for them, they have some sort of physical inability to do it. So we don't even truly know how many people were affected by these mental institutions. So let's talk about today. A couple days ago, a content creator that, quite frankly, I very much enjoy, and I want to make it clear, I do not want any hate sent to this person. I don't think that's going to help. But Etymologynerd made this video about the R slur. And I want to talk about the wording he uses here. He says, we have to accept the fact that the R slur is moving away from being a slur, but is becoming disassociated from disabled people. He says it no longer refers directly to disabled people. And I think it's fair for me to call out someone who is so focused on wording and diction. The wording he uses here is awful. This idea that as a society we have to accept a slur becoming more common, quite frankly, it's disgusting. This word has been used to discriminate. It has been used to imprison people. It has been used to take people's rights away. The idea that we have to do anything other than shun it, I disagree with extremely, extremely heavily. I understand that the idea behind the video was to explain this idea of the euphemism treadmill. He wants to talk about broader topics. But how this video comes off is that it is okay to use a word which is drenched in discrimination and hatefulness. Even in his own comment section, it is full of people saying, when is the apology coming out? When will this video be taken down? Because this video is still up on his account. As of the time of recording, this video is on his account. There is no apology video. There is no clarification video. Right? He made a video about the word chud and made multiple videos clarifying it. Now, obviously the word chud is much less offensive than the R word, and yet he has made no clarification for this video and about what he was truly trying to say. I don't think he's a hateful person, but his video is the exact kind of rhetoric that people use to justify their hateful language. So what should we do? The most important thing, especially if you are a young person, which is the communities that we are seeing use the R slur the most right now, is minimize your usage. That means stop saying it entirely in public settings. I know you might think only my friends are listening. You never know. When you're outside of your home, anyone could be listening. When you're at the mall, when you're in class, when you're at the movies, when you're at little people wrestling event, anyone can be listening, and therefore anyone can be offended. As I've laid out the history of this word as being so laced in discrimination, it is completely reasonable for someone, whether they have a disability or not, to be offended by this word. Really, I think an amazing shift that we could see in society is to work from an empathy-first model and to acknowledge that people, even if they are differently abled than us, are people. Recognize that personhood first. When you see someone say, hey, the R word hurts my feelings, instead of making a joke about the fact that they walked the wrong way, which he corrects soon after, you could very easily understand the words he's saying. And I know it's hard to take in, especially if you use this language, because this language is so hurtful, and it can be hard to come to the fact that you are part of the problem. But it's true. If you're using this language, you are part of our society, which is shifting to not help people with disabilities. And a lot of people with disabilities, unfortunately, their opportunities in the world are much, much less. And these people, a lot of them don't go out much. People who are higher support needed, maybe in group home most of the time. So when they do get to go out, when they go to the mall, when they're out with friends, when they're at work, when they're at school, I'm not saying to treat them any differently. Treat them like you would any other person. Treat them with respect. Don't use hateful language, because you could be ruining one of their only outings that month. So, if there's one thing I want you guys to take away from this, really think about the language you're using and how it affects people. You can cut one word out of your vocabulary, tiny amount of effort for you. and you can significantly improve the comfort of other people. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you consider my points. Even if you still choose to use it in private, which of course I think you shouldn't do, if we can cut this word out of public situations, it really, really will help people who have been harmed by this word. And unfortunately, the longer we use it, the more people will be harmed by this word. If we stop using it, we can stop the amount of people who are hurt by it, right? But if we keep using it, we are inevitably creating more and more people who will feel discriminated against. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you can take this in and at least think about it. Really consider what it is that you are promoting, what history you are linking yourself to when you use this language. And really, thank you so much for watching this video.